I want to shout out LSU. Let's start there. I want to shout out the LSU Tigers for winning the national championship. That's where I want to start off. I want to shout out the champions. You know what I'm saying? The team, the women that won the national championship game. Let's start there. Let's give them another round of applause, man. Let's start there. I next want to congratulate Angel Reese. You know what I'm saying? Had a great year. You know, won the MVP of the tournament, balled out in the tournament. Last game was looking iffy, but regardless, she got the job done. Next, I want to shout out the Iowa Hawks? Iowa. I don't know. Hey, shout out to Iowa. Had a Cinderella. It felt like a Cinderella run going into the national championship game. They had a couple of their seniors that balled out till the last minute. That's gonna be their last moment, and if that's their last moment, I think that's something to be commended for. It would have been better if they won, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Put it all on the floor. Next up, I want to shout out Caitlyn Clark. You see what I'm saying? The chosen one is what I'm gonna call it. The chosen one. I've always been on the tip, and we'll get into it in a minute. That, in my opinion, the thing that women's basketball needs is not for the rims to be lowered. It's not, smaller I mean, they already got smaller basketballs, right? But it's not changing what basketball is on a fundamental scale to make it more entertaining. I think that's undermining what women can do. And in my opinion, I have always been on the belief that they just needed that Michael Jordan-esque figure. You know what I'm saying? That very marketable player that shakes up the room, that everyone wants to watch, is box office X, Y, and Z. And, there have been a couple players within the recent years that have gotten close or gotten certain levels of hype that alluded to them possibly being that person. But I think this woman right here is different. I ain't gonna lie, man. Let's start off on a positive note. I ain't gonna lie, man. The amount of hype she is getting is different. Starting with the Final Four, I've never seen my timeline talk about women's basketball, college women's basketball at that much. I'm keeping it a bean. There's been certain instances where my timeline has talked about women's basketball to a certain degree, but people who I know don't usually pay attention to the game, paying attention that closely, that was different. The Final Four game versus South Carolina, that was the first time I've ever watched a women's basketball game from start to finish, and boy, was it the right one. I ain't gonna lie. It was different. It was different. My whole timeline tuned in to the national championship game. That shit was different. And let's just keep it a bean. Let's keep it a buck. No pun intended. The reason why was because of Caitlyn Clark, and Caitlyn Clark primarily. Not I won't say only, but primarily. A lot of people wanted to see a Cinderella run by the chosen one. You know what I'm saying? The person who's getting all this hype, this, that, and the third to finish the deal. And she almost got there. But we wanted to see if she could do it. I also say this about women's basketball. And hopefully this doesn't come off as condescending, but I was way more impressed than I thought I'd be. And this is my perception with anything not NBA. I just assume that I'm going to see a bunch of missed layups, a bunch of bad basketball. But what I saw, at least in those two games, Iowa versus South Carolina and Iowa versus LSU, that was some good basketball. I ain't gonna lie. That was some good basketball, man. That was some good basketball. So I want to shout out to all the women in the tournament all around, because also from my belief, I think the women's basketball got more attention than men's basketball this year. I ain't gonna lie. So shout out to the women. Let's start off there. Shout out to the women for real. But if you guys watched last night's game, and this is gonna be the main topic of Let's Keep It a Buck today, so y'all gonna hear my thoughts on it again later. Y'all knew that the talk of the town, the thing that everyone wants to talk about, is Angel Reese at the end of the game going, "You can't see me," to Caitlyn Clark. That has been the main talking point. That is what everyone has been talking about. And more specifically, the conversation around, is it classless or not? So this is the clip. End of the game. Game is over. You know what I'm saying? LSU was up by, I don't know, 15-17. It's a blowout win. It's clear that they're going to win. And this is what happens. "You can't see me." You can't. And I got a ring on my finger, pussy. Yeah. So when Twitter saw this, or when people saw this, people went on Twitter and made the claim that, yo, she's being classless. This is a classless move. I think the main proprietor, the main villain in this case, for a lack of a better term, is Dave Portnoy, CEO and founder of Barstool Sports. I'm going to go ahead and bring that up right here. Calls her a classless piece of shit. Next tweet, Angel Reese, #classless. For all the dummies out there who don't understand why Angel Reese is #classless, is because she taunted Clark with 10 seconds left in a game that was long over. Talking shit in the moment is one thing. Doing it when she did was classless. And that's why it's trending. So this is the next talking point. Is people clapping back at the people who said that it was classless and saying, yo, how is it classless for Angel to do it, but Caitlyn Clark did the same thing 2 rounds ago? Like what Angel did was a mockery specifically of what Caitlyn Clark did 2 rounds ago, as you can see right here. It was the whole, "It's cool when they do it, it's a problem when I do it" thing. And the response to, yo, but Caitlyn Clark did it 2 rounds ago, is essentially this: "Not even close. Are you brain dead?" #classless. Angel Reese basically chased the best player in the game to the locker room to taunt her. That's a crazy exaggeration of what the fuck happened. But yeah, it was different from the sense of it was longer. I mean, that's pretty much it. She did it for a longer period of time instead of just a quick, that and keeping it pushing. It was, I can't find it now, but it was that, but like 10 seconds and following Caitlyn Clark for another 10 seconds. I think it's very, very weird when y'all want to police what's acceptable trash talk and what's not. Like, I ain't gonna lie, when I first saw that, I didn't think, I didn't think she was classless. Oh, we're getting hella followers. Shout out to y'all. But I didn't think it was a classless move. I didn't think it was this, that, and the third. I thought of it as, yo, Caitlyn Clark talks a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? Caitlyn Clark talks a lot of shit. She's actually known for her trash talk. She did the same thing. Damn, we getting hella kicks ups. She did the same thing a couple rounds ago. These are competitive women on the biggest stage in college basketball, and they're talking their talk. I don't see what's a problem with that. If you've done anything competitive, y'all know what it is when it comes to trash talking, and it doesn't even have to be real life basketball. It could be fucking 2K. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, when we're playing team up, when we're playing park, hey, talk as much shit as you want. Go ahead, keep doing it. And I can't really say shit right now because I'm down and I'm the one playing like ass and you're dominating me. But best believe, once I'm on the other side of the coin, once I'm on the other side of the coin, I'm gonna remember what you've been talking about. I'm gonna remember how much trash you was talking, and I'm gonna give it back twofold. I'm gonna give it back twofold. That's what I saw, and it seems like such a take. It seems like the surface level take now, but it's dead ass. Like, it's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it. That's what it felt like. Now, to the defense of a lot of people making this critique, and shout out to Kick Gang, by the way. Kick is going crazy, Nolan. I ain't gonna lie. And maybe this is devil's advocate of the people calling her classless. I do think a lot of those people are people who deadass have not been paying attention to women's basketball. Just like me, maybe they started watching during the Final Four Heck, maybe the national championship game was the first time they were tuning in to women's basketball, period. I know because I was one of them. I literally just told y'all the Final Four, specifically Iowa versus South Carolina, that was my first time watching women's basketball, and I did have fun. So I kept on watching and watching the national championship game. So to their credit, it might have been a take that they had that was independent from what Caitlyn Clark was doing, and they just didn't see the hypocrisy in what they were saying given the situation. And if they think both of them were classless acts, then it is what it is. I mean, I disagree with you. Hey, if you think both acts are classless, I can't really talk. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing hypocritical. That's just the way you think. But it did feel like for certain people that the bar was raised, the goalpost was moved when Angel Reese did it compared to when Caitlyn was doing it. That is what it felt like. That is what it felt like. And y'all know me from these streams. I'm not the person to call race out, It's out the gate. Look, it's race. It's race. I'm not the type of person to do that. But in this case, again, it seems surface level, but that's what it felt like. That's what it felt like. And going back to, and maybe if you don't want to take it through the whole conversation, let's just stick to Dave. Because when Dave Portnoy said it, that's when I was like, okay, this seems off. So Twitter called out that, yo, you didn't have a problem when Pat Bev was taunting LeBron, calling him too little when the game was over, even though Pat Bev is not as big as LeBron, X, Y, and Z. You didn't have a problem when Pat Bev did it. If anything, you thought it was funny when Pat Bev did it, Oh, he did it to LeBron, ha. And I remember, too, this is damn near the complete inverse of the situation. In the NBA Finals last year, if y'all remember, I believe it was after Game 2, Klay Thompson went out and called out Boston fans as classless for essentially going into the game and saying, fuck you, Draymond, the whole game. I remember that game. And Dave Portnoy was the one saying, this is hilarious. The Warriors fans can't even handle a F-bomb. You're cool when Pat Bev did it to LeBron. You were cool when Boston fans were being classless, quote unquote, and you defended them. So in this situation, the only difference in this case is one, women were involved, and two, a black person did it to a white person. That's the only difference. I ain't gonna lie, I don't know Dave enough to put that label on him. But I think in this case, it was a very insensitive and hypocritical take for him to have. And he's getting cooked on the timeline, and rightfully, in my opinion. I'll say that. What was it? Was it petty? Yes. Was it dragging it? Yes. But that's how petty people are. I don't know I don't know if y'all have ever, talk to someone who's extremely petty or are friends with someone extremely petty, but that's what petty people do. Angel Reese, I mean, I've learned a lot about her in the last 24 hours, but this is something Angel does. She's a trash talker. Caitlyn, she's a trash talker. Yeah, I'm going to drag it out. Yeah, I'm dragging it. That's what I do. I don't have a problem with it. I'm being serious. I don't have a problem with it. It's very unfortunate that today we should be talking about hoops. There's so many people and players last night that had, that reached tremendous heights and accomplishments. I believe the coach of LSU got her fourth title, and this was, I believe, her second year coaching LSU. Turned them around year one. That's a crazy accomplishment right there. You got a couple of players on the team who we're in the transfer portal from my understanding, and they didn't find a home. They couldn't find a home where they felt accepted, and they weren't in situations that were able to take advantage of their strengths. And they finally found that home in LSU, and they balled the fuck out. Again, last night was the most. Today is still the most attention women's basketball has ever had, in my opinion, in my lifetime, where the main attention was basketball, the basketball being played. But now here we are, shitting, discrediting, criticizing what LSU has done, what Angel's done, heck, even what Caitlyn's done to a certain extent. And now Twitter is having a fucking race war over this. The shit is sad, dog. The shit is sad. I'm not gonna point fingers on who started it, X, Y, and Z, but this is what it is now, and it's sad. It's sad. It's sad that the the main talking point on Twitter right now is not just a celebration of what happened last night, isn't the future of women's basketball, you know? It's tough. It's tough, man.